Always excited to interview the people I get to talk to. Today is no exception. We are a client. He is a client. And so we get to dig in the weeds together because we get to play both directions. But we get to talk about revenue. We get to talk about community. We get to talk about technology. There's a lot of directions to go. And so I think we're going to have a really fun conversation. As always, I let my guests introduce themselves. So, Joe, tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, my name's Joe Mindak. I am a co-founder of Nolodex, which is a community software platform that allows members of communities and community owners to finally get paid for their connections. So our whole motto is connectors get paid, and we're looking to change the way networking is done through that model. So thanks for having me, Devin. Excited to talk to you. You and I have hit it off pretty well over the last few months, and so excited to talk about all this.
Yeah, man. So give us some background. What led to this system and platform? Why is this kind of where you landed? And then we'll dive in deeper.
Well, like a lot of businesses that people start, like there was no intention to do that, right? I had sold my marketing agency years ago, and I actually was exploring two other businesses, a beer company and something in the wedding business, right? A website I built. And people just kept calling me. I was a connector. You're a connector. We're all connectors, a lot of us. And people are still calling me, and I was still referring business to them, right? And I referred like $100,000 project, and I've told the story probably too many times now, but I went back to the agency I referred it to and said, "Hey, listen, I just walked the president of the company into your office, signed a $100,000 deal within a week of you meeting him. How about I bring you more business and you pay me?" And they were like, "Yeah, that was awesome. That was the biggest client we've landed so far." This is a younger agency. The biggest client we landed so far. You basically walked them in our office and the deal was closed, and basically on my recommendation. And so they paid me 15 grand. They gave me a check as soon as they got paid. They paid me, and then I was like, you know what? I bet guys like me and Devin and other people probably, it's been years that we've been giving out referrals. We should be getting paid. Like we're great, we're good at this. Like a lot of us are good at this. People like that agency are like, "Hey, I don't have the network you have. Yes, can you bring me business? I will pay you." And for them to give me $15,000 for bringing them a deal is like, "Hey, they see the value in what I could bring them." They know I've been around. I was probably 45 at the time. They were probably 26, 27. Like, look, we're great at what we do. We don't have the network. So that was kind of the impetus to be like, let's try doing networking a little bit differently. And it's just grown from there. We grew from just me kind of handing out referrals to now our beta group is almost 600 members referring business to each other. And Nolodex was kind of born out of necessity, right? I couldn't find a software to track all these deals. As we grew from 20 people to 40 people to 100 people, there's no way that old Excel file I was using was going to be able to track Robert to this Devin to Sarah. Like, so, and we couldn't find, I tried a few different technologies, software out there to do it, and just couldn't find anything. So what do you do next? And just build it yourself. And then we realized, you know what? There's a lot of other communities that want to do what we're doing. Let's build this as an enterprise level SaaS model that we can license to other communities. And that's what we're doing now. And communities are really going nuts for it, to be honest. Like they're like, this is what we're missing, right? We're talking to chambers, alumni, people that run networking groups. So like this is the software that we've been missing. That, obviously the stuff that tracks referrals out there, but how do we pay each other? How do we incentivize each other? How do we take a 500 person community and make them all salespeople for each other? Real salespeople that actually get paid a commission when they close deals instead of, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You give me a lead, I'll give you a lead. No, I will introduce you to Robert all day long. And I want a little cut of it. So, and people are excited about it because again, the connectors, the really good networkers are finally saying we're getting paid now. And the people that aren't great at connecting, but just don't want to get out there and sell, don't want to really get out there and network, they're a little more maybe introverted, whatever. Like, hey, Devin, bring me business. I will pay you. I don't want to sell. You know people. Sell, ask them if they want to use my product or service, and I will pay you to do that. So I don't have to do it. I just want to do what I do best. I want to make more logos, I want to build more websites. I love doing that. I don't want to do what you guys do and sell. You do it and I'll pay you. And it brings both those sides of the networking world together.
I love that. Let's double down on what you just talked about because that's kind of where I want to go next. Where, I think if people have been part of other networking groups, they've probably found that imbalance, right? Where either you're receiving a ton and that's great and you're winning, but you're not reciprocating necessarily if you're not an innate connector. Or the worst case, right, is what you mentioned. Like you're the connector that's just dishing out referrals and connections everywhere, but you're not really receiving them back. What your approach does is it balances those scales, right? So instead of having to receive the connections back, it's like, hey, here's some cash, and we're all in the business of revenue, right? So that kind of balances the scale, right?
Yeah, and I think that it really, I think, and I only thought about this, yeah, again, you and I both been connectors for a while, but like, I've been doing this for quite some time with the software, but like, I only thought about it probably 6 months ago. I'm like, there's a bottleneck in networking. There's a spot where it stops because look, I was in a networking group. The last one I was in before I started my own, I don't know, 8 years ago. Every month I was giving out referrals, and every month I get this plaque or whatever. It was actually a printout like a cheap $2 Michael's frame. It said, "Joe, you gave out the most referrals again this month. Next month, Joe, you gave out the most referrals again." And I was like, all right, I got a stack of frames over here, and I'm not getting reciprocated, right? That's just the way it goes, right? Some people just aren't good at networking. So what happens is I give Robert 6 referrals. Let's say, right? Hey, Robert, here's another referral. Another, I got someone who wants AI. Someone wants AI, right? And Robert's getting up in a meeting saying, "Thanks to Joe. Thank you so much. Joe gave me another lead. Joe, I closed this deal for $10,000 from Joe. Joe gave me another lead. I closed." And I'm like, I don't know, Robert's not giving me anything back. So all of a sudden, what happens is I stop giving deals to Robert, right? Not because I want to be mean or whatever, but I'm like, you know what? I've given this guy 6 referrals, not nothing back, and he's made 30 grand. Like, and that's just the mentality. I think it's just human nature. Like you just kind of stop. So now that causes a bottleneck. Robert's not getting deals anymore. I'm not giving them out anymore. So there's really good people that are in those networking groups kind of get frustrated and all of a sudden they leave. Now Robert, who had a great referral person in the group, is not getting the business he used to get because those people leave. I'm out. I try and find another group. I leave. Now, in our case, what we're doing is saying, "Hey, Robert, yeah, I gave you those 6 deals. You made 20 grand on one, 10 grand on the other. Well, I made $1,000 off of that deal. I made 2,000. I'm going to keep giving you business. Keep that faucet open, right? Keep that flywheel going because I get it, Robert. You don't might not have the connections I'm looking for, but at least every time I give you a deal and you close it, I'm getting paid. So I'm sticking with this. I'm not leaving, right? So gets that stickiness in the group going where it's like, oh, I don't have to leave. I might not be getting as much business as I like from referrals, but at least I'm getting paid. It changes the whole dimension and the whole paradigm shift in networking to be like, start paying each other. And it makes it a lot easier.
Love that. So you're running a pretty good community. Give us a really big win. Like, what's something sneaky that's happened that, again, because of the platform underneath being able to track it, give us an example of someone hitting a huge home run and, everyone winning in the process.
So, I mean, the way it's set up is it's just an incentive machine, right? So, like, everyone's in these networking groups. They're paying $100 a month, 700 for the year, 1,500 for the whatever these communities charge, right? The way we set it up in the system is, I'll give you an example of just our group, right? So our group is $100 a month, right? Now Robert joins our group for $100 a month as opposed to a different group, right? You're there to get business, so that's one way you're getting business, and one way you're getting income is by closing business. That's what we're all there for. But every time Robert brings another member in, he gets $100 bonus, right? So you bring another member, help us grow this group. Now there's an incentive for Robert to bring other people in. Oh, I'm going to help this group grow instead of just money going to the top to the corporation that runs this thing or whatever it might be. They're getting all this money. If I bring more people in, what do I get? No, bring a person in, you get $100, right? And then every time Robert sends a deal out. So one of the members in our group has joined in December. So he joined in December. He's paid $800 so far to be a member of the group, right? $100 a month, $100 a month. He's brought 5 members, good members into the group. And right, we don't let everyone in. Hey, who do you know that's great? He's brought 5 members into the group. So he's gotten $500 back, right? So now he's in for $300 for almost a full year at this point. He paid $300 to be in the group. He's closed 2 deals. One was 225 twice, so he made $500 on that deal. He closed another deal that he sent out for $700 he made. So that's $1,000 or so, a little over 1,000. He's now closed another deal. It's 675 a month in his pocket. 675 a month is his cut of the deal. So he's got five payments so far on that deal. It's a recurring revenue. It's that deal goes on as long as because the member's like as long as I keep that client, you get paid. So he's gotten what 3,000, 3,500 on that. So he's made almost $5,000 referring business on his $300 investment. And he's got 23 deals in the pipeline for his business right now. 23 deals in his pipeline for growing business. So you get three income streams from that $100 a month that you're paying. So those communities are set up like that to be where typically you're just paying a membership fee, right? And good luck. Hopefully you get business. If you don't get any business, sorry. But now, hey, look, every time you bring a new person in, you're not paying dues that month, right? It's a totally different way to do it. And it's just that incentive is there, right? So that's a nice win for that member. Boom, right? Another member closed a $1.5 million deal, $50,000 commission, $25,000 in your pocket. That's another nice win too, right? Like, hey, Devin, here's 25 grand for that deal you made. Wait, 25 grand? Like that happened last year. Like, okay, from an introduction I made, that's a nice, that's a nice half your mortgage is paid that year from that deal, right? Or whatever you want to pay. That's a lot of phone bills, right? $250 a month for a phone bill. You're paid for the next. I can't do the math on that, but you're paid for quite some time, right? So yeah, so it's a whole different ball game, right? So
Let's talk about software development because you put a lot of time, money, energy into building the platform. Let's pull back the curtain there. What are some lessons you learned when you jumped in and said, "Look, I'm going to build this solution"? Where did you go wrong? Where have you gone right? What are some lessons in building, a big tech platform?
oh, listen, like building a house, everyone says it's going to cost you more and more time, and it did, right? And we were prepared for that, so we weren't stupid. But you got to really, the one thing we know is you got to really watch what you're adding, right? Like anything, scope creep will kill you, right? Because like, oh, can you change that to red? Oh no, change it back to blue, change it back to green. Wait, change it to purple. Like you just keep adding that stuff up. Like, oh, we got a new feature. Robert just said we should add this in. Yeah, add that, add that, add. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, well, we added all that. It was another $100,000. Like, oh crap. Right. So like you just, focus on getting it out there, right? And we did an MVP first, right? We did a minimum viable product first, which we used and we tried. But with the real software, the real enterprise level one, the payment platform is just a bear. So the biggest thing I would tell anyone to do when you're starting with software is to do what's called discovery phase, right? It's just like building a house, right? You're going to hire that architect to build it. How are you going to build? Okay. Oh, Devin, you want a colonial? Great. Okay. Well, what do you want in the bathroom? How do you want the plumbing to work? How do you want this to go to that, right? So figure all that stuff out. So we sat for like 3 months and figured out how it's all going to be built out. What do we want? What do you want this feature to do? How do you want the payments to go? So we spent like 20 grand just doing that, which got us to the point where here now we have this architectural plan, right? And that was all done. So that allowed us to go out and get quotes from different dev shops, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, look, there's people out there that are like, we're going to build this ourselves. Like I had a guy a couple weeks ago, he's like, oh, Joe, we're already building it. I go, listen, I know you're building it. I'm just telling you from someone that's built it, it's going to cost you way more than what you're thinking, and you're going to continue to have to build it. I said, we've built it. Just, I know you don't want to ditch what you've been doing, but we're only $129 a month, right? Just move over. We've already built whatever you're thinking about building. We've already built it and it's only going to cost you $129 a month, right? We actually have one of our first customers, our clients, was a shop that spent a community that spent $250,000 building a software. 250, right? They just ditched the software and said, we'll just give you guys 129 a month. You built what we were trying to build and you built it better and it's only going to cost us 129 a month. They were paying $8,000 a month in maintenance, right? You got to think, oh, great, it's going to cost me how much to build software, but it doesn't stop. And like, oh, it's built. Like software breaks all the time. We're fixing things. You've had a couple of people sign up like that's not work. Whatever. Things just break all the time. Little things break. I go on to Chase. Chase is a huge company. They can't break. I couldn't even log on the other day to my account, right? Like it's so like, hey, just give us the 129. We'll worry about all the extra fees and stuff that's going to happen over time. And we've had people do it. So I know there's people going to look at what we're building and be like, I'll just build that. AI could build that. it's not that easy, right? It's gonna cost a hell of a lot more, and you're never gonna stop paying. So we'll take that. Just so that's kind of the model, right? That we built. So
Love it. Talking about, so you mentioned alumni chambers or a couple other kind of use cases for the platform. So let's start with the chambers. What are those conversations looking like? Why are they seeing value in it? How does that get a chamber kind of ramped up and doing more together?
yeah, so chambers are typically in communities. They're close knit, like they're in towns. Like Westfield has a chamber here, and it's all local businesses, restaurants, and all that type of stuff. But they're kind of, having meetings once a month, right? Hey, we're meeting at the coffee shop if 40 people show up. Hey, we're going to have a dinner at this place. And they support the local businesses and stuff. But what are you doing between those meetings? Like, and what if you're busy? What if you're traveling? What if you're here? Like, how does these people connect outside of going to that coffee shop in the morning and meeting those 40 people that are at the thing, right? There's no way to connect. They have these directories, right? There's software out there, but it's a directory. It's just, hey, you want accountants? Here's a list of accountants. Like, so our software allows you to connect to those other people, right? I spoke to a chamber yesterday, 1,100 members. 1,100 members. How is Robert going to meet those 1,100 members? Right? Maybe he goes once a quarter to an event and he'll meet 30, 40 people that show up there. Maybe it's a dinner that has 200 people. At the end of the year, they usually have a gala or something. But besides that, how is he meeting those 1,100 people? Now you can go on the software. Robert could say, hey, I want to meet other people in AI. And he could search. We have a very robust search. You tag yourself to all the different things that you do. So now Robert could say, hey, I want to talk to other people that might be one in my space, in the AI space. I want to talk to them. Good. You just punch in the system, click on a couple of the tags, and be like, okay, hey, Robert, there's 35 other people in the chamber that you've never met that probably could be referring business to you. So it just engages those members, right? And now Robert's sending business to them, and he's making money off it. Now think about the retaining members at the end of the year. Hey, Robert, you want to sign up again for another year for the chamber? $675? Oh, yeah, you know what? I made $3,000 this year just referring business to people. My dues is paid, right? So it keeps that going. So really, for all of it, and alumni is the same way. Alumni are struggling. They're like, we can't get people to commit, right? There's a lot of platforms out there, not to knock on any platforms, but like Facebook page. Oh, group. Like, what do? You post it on a Facebook page, like, hey guys, how's it going? I haven't seen you since 1991 when I graduated high school. Like a lot of these things are just these community platforms that just you can talk to each other, but what's the purpose of talking to each other? Now with the alumni, you could say, hey, listen, so like my alumni Bergen Catholic I went to, hey, you went to Bergen Catholic too? Great. Go onto the platform, send a referral to another Bergen Catholic grad, right? There's a certain brotherhood amongst us at least in our school. I want to support another business that went to my high school. And guess what? Part of the money that comes from the referral I give goes to the alumni association. So now you're not only helping another alumni out, you're actually supporting the school and the alumni so they can give scholarships out and things like that. Same with fraternities, right? My fraternity, Phi Sig, the system could take the money, let's say it's a $5,000 commission, it could give $2,500 to the member that referred it. So now Phi Sigs are making money off of sending business to each other, right? So the person that got the business is happy because I referred a piece of business to another brother. I made $2,500 because I referred the business. The other 2,500 bucks, half of it could go to the foundation, right? All these fraternities and sororities have foundations, a charitable arm of the fraternity that they could pay for scholarships and things like that. So 1,250 goes there, and guess what? The system will take the other 1,250 and give it to your chapter, Devin, right? Like you were at Indiana. It's going to send 600 and what did I just say? Split that up, $650, whatever it is, to your undergrads, the 5 6 back at your college, and I'm going to send 650 bucks to the 5 6 back at Dayton, to the brothers that are there now, the undergrads, like to help them out. How cool is that? Imagine when I was an undergrad, we got money in our bank account. Hey, 650 bucks. Guess what we're doing this weekend, right? Like, but you're supporting from that one referral you gave, you supported another person's business, the foundation, and your undergrads. It's just it's a win-win-win for literally everybody involved, right? So that's what we're showing people, and people are like, that makes a lot of sense. I think our alumni will engage with that. I think our chambers are we'll be excited about that. Again, because same thing, like I said before, the good connectors are now getting paid, and the other people are like, hey, I'd love to get business. I'm sure Other people that went to Bergen Catholic would love to give me business. We're all, we always help each other out. If someone reaching out on LinkedIn right now from a Phi Sig or Dayton or any of my alumni or whatever, I always respond, but they're not doing it on a regular basis. But if somebody reaches out, I respond. So this is going to engage them more. So
I love that you talk about the search function because I think that's a great use case to explain, something we always talk about is solve problems, provide resources, make connections. And so this, if you're part of a community that is easily searchable and you get rewarded, you're winning five times, right? Because it's like now you're solving people's problems because now your resource library got bigger and you're able to dial in and go, hey, let me find the best for you. And by the way, I know I'm going to get a kickback. And so I'm winning, they're winning, everybody's winning. And so I love that use case with the chamber where you talked about digging in and doing the search, but also finding other community, right? So that's something I think people overlook a lot is, who else is playing in your space and go
right.
meet them because they become some of the best referral partners, right? They're probably doing stuff you're not doing.
Yeah, and I mean, we in our community, we have vertical meetings just because of that. Like, hey, let's get all the marketing folks together, right? You do websites, great. This guy does SEO. You guys should be talking to each other because you don't do that and he doesn't build websites. So it's good referral partners. So again, with the search, you could just go, we have almost 600 people in our group. You could just go and sit in marketing and it'll tell you all the people that are in marketing. Look, I only want to talk to these 75 people that are in marketing because they're the low-hanging fruit that become good referral partners for me. So why not just talk to those people? Now, look, obviously other people have connections as well, but those generally will be the people. You're all talking to the CMO. You just do different services for the CMO. So the CMO you're working with can refer to me, and I can refer my CMO to you because I don't do, AI or whatever it might be. So yeah, the search is huge, right? It's very, very robust. Like you could tag yourself in your profession, keywords, categories, women-owned business, minority-owned business, all that type of stuff. You tag it down to find the right solution for what your client or whoever is looking for a referral for.
Talk to me about accountability. So, we're making these referrals. How is that tracked in the system? How do we make sure people are closing the loop? What mechanisms are in place for that?
Yeah, so again, like we're taking the awkwardness out of having to ask for the referral after, right? Because people are like, oh, hey, Robert, I sent you that deal. Well, Joe, you never asked me for that, right? So when people come on the platform, you sign an agreement. This agreement is, a legal document that says, I will pay your community, right? I'm joining ACE's community. I will pay. If I get a referral from someone in your community, I will pay that. So you're locked in legally. Then when somebody sends you a referral, you have to accept it on the platform. So Robert sends me a referral. I say, yes, Robert, you made the introduction to Devin for me. So I can't go back 2 months later when I close the deal. Say, I was already talking to Devin, Robert. No, I've accepted that. Yes, you made that introduction, so you will get paid a commission, right? And then, the system is in there. You're going to put that payment in. So when I close the deal, you put the payment right in. Hey, Robert, that deal closed. I wound up charging the client 50 grand. I'm putting that 50 grand in the system. The system will calculate the commission based on whatever commission you've agreed to, the referral fee, and it charges you through, and all the money goes right through Stripe. We don't even touch the money. Money goes in Stripe. The next day it pays it all out. So there's checks and balances there to make sure that everyone's aligned and everyone's keeping up with it. And at any point you could send a note. Hey Robert, just sending you a note. What's going on with that deal? I want to know what's happening. Oh, we just sent a $75,000 proposal. We should know by next week if we get it, right? So it's communication amongst the deals is going on all the time.
Love that. How do you inspire growth in the group? So, once you've started your community, what are some mechanisms you have in place to help others? I know, referencing back to that $100 incentive, but there's some other mechanisms you have in place too, I believe.
Yeah, so we have that obviously that incentive to bring people in, but we also bring on a lot of tools to help people grow in the group, right? Listen, you're on here now. How are you going to make deals happen? Right? So we're not a membership model now. So people do pay membership. Not every community charges membership, but if you do, you're getting deals done, and when deals done, that's when people make money. So how do we make sure deals are getting done? So we have a lot of tools that we trained and use in our community, and then we give that to other communities that sign up. Say, hey, here's a tool. Like we have a tool on LinkedIn. How cool is this, right? Let's say you want to go on and get into Pfizer, right? Pfizer's a huge company. You want to get into Pfizer. So you go on LinkedIn, hit Pfizer. Typically, you go on Pfizer, you find people, but you don't know who's connected to them. right? You're like, oh, there's the CMO, Sarah James. I'd love to talk to Sarah James. You don't know all the people that are connected to her on there. Maybe she has 30 connections, whatever, but you don't know who they are. This tool will tell you, hey, Joe, Chris Esposito in the Connect, and it tells you people in the Connective on the side. We have this tool that's an extension. Hey, this person knows Sarah. This person that's in your community knows that person. Now, it's not always foolproof because, sometimes it's the algorithms, but for the most part, it says, yeah. And you send a note right to Chris, you click a link. Chris, do you know Sarah well enough to make an introduction? Oh, yeah. Sarah and I worked together for 10 years. I'll make that introduction to you. So we do a lot of, that's just one example, but there's a lot of things that we give our communities because look, we're not just built selling a software to communities, right? The software tracks it, right? Software, people are like, that sounds transactional. Yeah, the transactions go on the software, but it's helping you build your community, right? So, I just wrote a book, as you know, called Connectors Get Paid because it's, hey, how did I build this community? How do we grow our community to 600 members and growing and extending? We have tons of prospects. This is how we did it. So we give everyone, it's not the secret sauce, like, here's how we did it. So we want to help communities grow because we have a vested interest in them doing well. The more members they have, the better. And we tell them, look, the more members you bring in, help us grow this community. Because if you all help us grow, that's more community, more people for you to connect to, right? We have 560 members that have 100 good connections right now. That's 56,000 first connections amongst our group. That's crazy, right? 56,000 first connections that people can call someone on their phone and say, hey, yes, I know that person, Devin. I'll make an introduction for you, right? So keep that going, guys. Bring other people in because Devin's bringing other people in. You should bring other people in to help him. 'Cause he's helping by bringing people in. So the more we grow this group, we could be up to 100,000 connections by the end of the year, right? So yeah, there's a lot of different things we do to help make sure there's value always added to the group, and people see that, and then they continue to bring other people in.
I love it because your answers are strategically around deal flow, right? They're around actually getting referrals done. And I think that's a different mindset when growing a community, right? Because so often, and this is the same thing I preach on the network growth side, is people are just trying to add more and more and more, but they're not going deeper with what's here, trying to make it work. And so what's great about what you're saying is we're not just a networking group out there going, hey, let's just recruit for the sake of recruiting because that's how we make money. It's like, no, 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 let's recruit, but then let's win because when everyone, when one person wins, we all win. So I can see it as a community host, it probably is going to change the way you think about your community and where you're focusing your time and attention.
Right. And you want good people in your community, right? I had somebody like, oh, we can't pay referral fees. It's gonna scare people off. Like, well, then you don't want those people in your group. If they're not here to give referrals to other people in the group, this should be a red flag. And this group is charging $50 a month. I'm like, you should charge $100 a month. Well, I don't know if people do that. Yes, you're going to lose some people, but you're going to get better people in. Don't let everyone in. Don't be a membership model. And that's the good thing we have is when you're using our software, you're not making money off that $100. Obviously, it adds up, right? 500. You do the math. It's off of the deal flow. So if you get the right people in the group, they'll be able to close the deals, right? Because you want to get somebody in the group that's horrible at what they do or can't close the deal because you're never going to make any money off that. So if you're paying $100 a month, it's 1,200 a year. You could do one deal that's $5,000 commission, 10,000, 25, like I said before. That's what's going to grow your group and give money to everyone else, not the $100. And I think all these groups, all they have, right, and all the network groups we're talking about, all they have, the only income they have is this membership, right? That's the only source of income for everyone in the group, right? I had a guy in Florida that he's got 12 different communities all over Florida. None of them talk to each other, right? So he's got 30 people here, 30 people in Miami, 30 people in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, why don't you put them on the software? Now instead of having 12 different disparate groups of 30 people, you have one large group of 360 people that your people could go to now. So not just the 30 people, now they have 330 other people they can connect with in your group and send business to each other. And he's like, well, how do you charge $100? I only charge $50. I'm like, you only charge $50? I go, because these people are making money, right? So you could charge a little bit more and get the people in the group. Again, even if you lose 30% of those people, you're going to build it up with better people in the group that are sending deals, right? And then you're going to start to grow your group and you're going to start to make that passive income because now there's 360 people sending business to each other. And you as a community owner are getting a cut of every one of those deals. And your members are getting a cut of those deals that are sending the business. So they're not going to leave your group now because you just gave them another income stream. It's just all, like you say, yeah, strategy, it's all worked out there. It's all incentivizing everybody to stay in the group, do more deals, bring more people in, and everybody wins, you know?
Do
And
you
I say,
find do you find that there might be a situation, the chamber might be an example, right, where you're still using maybe a marketplace app or maybe a communication app or maybe even another community app for different parts or your free community or different features. Because like you said, you can't have every feature stack in one platform. Like
right,
it's too much.
right.
Are you seeing a use case like that where like it may make sense to just move a smaller portion of your community or your community over here who only wants to focus on referrals between members and monetizing it while still using Circle or some other app as well?
Well, that's the beautiful part, right? We built the model so it's not going to cost anyone a lot, right? So like, oh, I'm already paying for school, or I'm already paying for Circle, I'm already in my good. Use that for what you guys are using that for, educational. Do all, yeah, yes, we're not touching that. That's great. That's awesome. People love that. And now you could pay $129 a month, small other fee, right, to use our software, and the people that want to join can join. And it's $20 a year for them to join. So right to chamber yesterday, there was 1,100 people in chamber. I said, listen, not all you people are going to join. Some people just are in it because they have to be, right? They got universities and people supporting the chamber. They're not going to be in there. Other people at the local flower shop, that probably the restaurants, they might not want to join. But look, the restaurants have people coming in that are business people that they can refer. But generally, yeah, you're not just the people that want to join. So maybe the 400 people that are more B2B focused businesses want to join. Great. It's listen, we're paying for it as a chamber. There's this other platform. If you want to make money and refer business to each other or get business and pay referral fees, you're okay with that? It's 20 bucks. It's another 20 bucks. Only if you want to. You don't have to. We're not forcing you as the chamber. We're not forcing you as the alumni group. We're not forcing you as the person running the circle group. But if you guys want this option for another 20 bucks, you can come over here. We've bought the software and you can be on it. Okay, well, great. The people that want to do it, right? So it works hand in hand with those other platforms, right? And let them let use those platforms for what they do best. And then there are a lot of them are doing a great job. I get a lot of people using Circle and all those ones because they're good at what the point is for that, right? How do you educate? How do you help people peer-to-peer advisory? Well, they're all different platforms for different things, but this one is to collect money for referring business. This is very specific on what we're doing here.
I love that. I just wanted to plant that seed because I think, it is likely that people who are listening might be already be in a world where, hey, I've got a community or I've got a group or I've got a mastermind or I've got something. And yes, those platforms make sense, right? Like I have a community on school. Why? Because I use it for different features of school, right? I'm in another community that's on circles. I'm in a group that's in WhatsApp because they love communication. Like I was just laughing this morning. I think I'm in like 19 platforms now, just to cooperate with all these different groups. But I like what you did is you planted that seed of like, look, if you have this collective group and you're either not monetizing it or you are monetizing it, well, this could just be an additional revenue stream.
Yeah. And again, we made the model so it's not, it's an extra 1,500 bucks for that group to sign up for this platform for the year. You close one deal, you could pay for that software, right? You pay 20 bucks. You gotta, I mean, any deal you close, you're gonna be paid up for your 20 bucks. It's 20 bucks. Like, yeah, why wouldn't I do it? So again, because we're counting on everyone to do deals, right? And that's where we're all when these communities do deals, everybody wins a little bit more. So that's what we're counting on. Like just, get that done. And again, we give all those tools and we give a lot of advice and we have all these videos to watch and different things to do to drive traffic to the different softwares we use to make deals happen. So
Love it. Joe, what haven't we talked about? I feel like we've covered a lot of ground. What have we missed?
I think the biggest thing that we're struggling with, and I just want everyone to know, and I've been trying to preach it, it's just like it's okay. Like people are like, you shouldn't be getting paid. Like it's not, look, you should be doing this out of generosity of your heart. Yeah, but it's okay to get paid. Like, look, every business out there is willing to pay a referral fee. Almost every corporation. And I think the stat the other day was 20% more companies are now paying referral fees than last year. Like everyone's like, yeah, man, Devin, you could make me an introduction for me. our company will pay you for that, right? Because it's your college roommate that you could call today and get us an interview with instead of email, cold calling, all these other things we're doing, right? And 85% of people start their process with asking for a referral, right? Companies looking for a new website. Devin, who do you know that does websites, right? Like it's all there. 75% higher conversion rate, 37% higher retention rate, like 25% higher profit margins. Everything about referrals is there, but we're not paying each other. Why aren't we just all saying let's do it, right? So I notice community owners are a little hesitant to be like, we don't do that, we don't do that. But I'm saying, guys, like it's working, and we've proved it's working, right? I said to the guy the other day, he said, well, we have, our community, he's been doing it. I go, how long have you been doing it? 10 years. He doesn't want to ask people for referral fees because he's afraid to rock the cart. I go, but you've been doing this 10 years. You got 150 members in your group that are paying $50. That's like, I forget, it was 60 or 90 grand a year. That's all you're making off of this group, right? You're leaving all this money on the table. And if you go with our model and start paying each other, we've been doing this for 3 years. We got 600 people paying $100 a month. Why is that? Because they're the referral givers, the connectors are getting paid. So they're driving it. The connectors drive all networking groups, right? There's that group of people that's sending referrals. Now you're starting to pay them. They're joining up. They're saying, yeah, and Drew, hey, yes, I want to get paid. So it's going to help you increase, right? Yeah, you'll lose some people. They're like, I'm not paying referrals. Good. Unfortunately, those people can go somewhere else, right? But you're building a group now. You're gonna go from 150 people to 300 people. Maybe you lose 30, 40, but you get your group to 300 people paying $100 now. That's $360,000 a year instead of $60,000 a year you're getting paid to run your group. And that's just on the dues that you're charging. That doesn't account for all the money you're leaving on the table for your members and you for running this community on these deals that are happening. Right. So I think it's just, look, we all have to, I think we just all in one big networking world say, yeah, let's all start paying each other. Like, let's all agree this is easy to do. And there's a platform that can handle all the payments for us. Let's just start doing it. That's kind of what our MO is like. Let's get that out there.
I'm glad you went there. Yeah, I was on a meeting the other day, and this will be a moment of reflection for whoever's listening or watching, right? I was talking to this gentleman, and he said he was part of some groups, really prominent, well-known groups. Like I love both the groups he's in. I was like, awesome. Like you're playing in great places. But then he goes and says, I haven't closed a deal in months. Like I'm really struggling to get a deal done. And then his problem was he was like really stuck on this pay to play referral thing. Like it was like a sticking point for him. And I'm like, but what you're doing is not working. Like you don't have people out there actively searching and advocating for you, right? There's no skin in the game, there's no opportunity, and you're wondering why your network's not producing. So you either plug in somewhere where they're incentivized, or yes, I have a system where I can teach you to make your network do it, or do both. but but if you're sitting out there going, I'm participating in these groups, but not getting the reciprocation, well, then maybe there is another way, right? So I always say, like, well, just be curious, ask the question, what if, right?
I mean, I thought about this idea like 10 years ago because I was on LinkedIn and I'm like, Devin, can you connect me to this person? And you're like, no, man, I don't know who you are. Like, what's my incentive to connect you? And then I was like, why don't we start paying each other? Like, and the original idea was honestly like you could put up either cash or tickets because I had Jets tickets at the time. The Jets stink. They still stink. No one was taking my tickets. So I'm like, what if I could put up my Jets tickets on LinkedIn and be like, hey, Devin, can you connect me to so and so? I'll give you these 2 tickets for the Jet game this weekend. They're worth $400, whatever they are. Like that was the original idea, like these incentives for people to connect each other. And that was it. Like I just didn't see now when you go on LinkedIn, Devin, can you connect me? I will pay you. You're in my community, right? You're in my ACES community. If you connect me, you're going to get paid. And listen, money talks, right? And it's all about who you know now. It's okay, who do you know, who you connect me to, and I will pay you to get me an introduction to that person, right? It just totally changes it. That incentive is fantastic. And I think again, everyone has to just be okay with it. And it's going to take, look, it's not an easy mountain to climb to get the entire networking world to shift the paradigm to be like, well, it's all everyone pays each other now. But I tell you, if you're in a group and you're like not doing it and you're like, I'm hesitant, like people are hearing, like we've got a bunch of communities on and people are like, I hear they're paying people over here, you know, community owner. Why aren't we getting paid as members? These guys are paying each other. And the community owners are gonna be like, oh, here these other community owners are getting paid now. Well, eventually you're gonna have to conform, right? You're gonna be like, hey, well, it's okay to take money from my members now. It's okay to pay my members. It's okay to pay referral fees because if I don't start doing it, people will be jumping to groups that are, right? If you're gonna pay $100 a month to be a member of a group, which one are you gonna join? Apples to apples, everything else is the same, except this one pays me referral fees, right? I got a $50,000 website. I'm in this group. I get no referral fee. I'm in this group. I get 10%. Where are you gonna send your referral to? Not to be selfish, but which one are you going to choose? You're going to go, hey, I got a mortgage. I got two kids in college. I got that. Like, I'm going over here where I'm going to make $2,500, $5,000, whatever it is, right? That's just logical. So it's get there and just coming on here, talking about people and getting that word out, I think is what we're really looking to do.
Love it. Joe, talk to us about how people can connect with you. How can they learn about the platform? And then if they're listening, they're in the B2B world, maybe they want to plug into a networking group. Talk to us about how they can learn about your group too.
Yeah, so Joe at Nolodex.com, Nolodex.com. You can check out the website, Nolodex.com. Use that same email if you want to learn about our community, The Connective, which is our beta group. We have 500 and almost 70 members, I think now, so and growing. That's a B2B networking group. If you're looking for a new group to join, that pays you for referrals. We got 4,200 deals going on right now in a group because that incentive works. So yeah, just hit me up.
Awesome. Joe, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for sharing your time and wisdom with us. If you're listening or watching, go below. All those links will be down there so you can reach out to Joe, ask questions, or plug into what he's doing.
Thank you, Devin. It's awesome.